to Uncomfortable Convos. It's your boy, the one with the scar on his face, your boy Scarface. And welcome back to another episode. Thank you guys every week for tuning in and definitely checking us out every week. It's because you guys why I continue to make this content and continue to do the podcast because you guys love it. Shout out to everyone who listened to last week's episode, which did really well. We did a podcast on, going back to exes with a psychologist. So did really well. Thank you guys for all the support. Wherever you guys are listening to this, give us a thumbs up, a 5-star rating. It helps the podcast go a long way. So, and I have something special to tell you guys at the very end of this podcast. But you're going to have to wait until the very end. I'm going to drop it somewhere at the very end because, I'm going to make you listen through the whole thing. But it's super exciting news. Like, I'm super excited about this. And I know a lot of people have been asking me for this. So that's why I was like, you know what? Let me just make it happen. And why I decided to do it. So first, let's start off how deep will you go? They need to eventually sponsor the podcast. What's the first thing you think of when you say I love? The first thing that I think of when I say I love, it's probably I love what I do right now. Meaning like I'm lucky enough to be able to do this at my level right here. When you start meeting other people that do it at a higher level, you're just like, I can get there. I can get there. But I love doing what I do. Just as the social media strategist, as a social media person, as the podcast, like all this stuff I love to do, and I'm glad I'm able to do it. So when I say I love, obviously everyone's going to think of different, depending on your situation. I love my wife. I love my girl. I love my kids. Like I don't have a wife. I don't have a girl. I don't have kids. But so you see how maybe it's different for somebody else, depending on whatever, like wherever they are in life. Obviously something different is going to pop up. So, and then also I got these Who mixes, the hard ones, fire. And some people, don't you hate it when people are like, you post something, you're like, hey, these are fire. And then I don't like them. Okay. Just because you told me you didn't like them doesn't mean I'm going to start disliking them. I remember I posted The Weeknd a while back ago and I had a few people message me saying like, I don't like The Weeknd. And I have 1, 2, 3, 4 signed posters, 3 signed CDs, 4 signed CDs. And what makes you think you telling me that you don't like The Weeknd is going to change it? Oh, okay. Let me take this down. But that's what I think of when I say I love. So what do you guys think of? Just take a second to ponder, right? What's a memory you never want to let go of? That one's a difficult one. What is a memory that I would never want to let go of? I think it instantly, like right now, the first thing that pops into my head is probably my parents, and because they're still around. I'm not gonna act like they're not around or anything like that, but that's something that I want to continue because people forget, right? Like for example, my grandma just passed away. Milo's not gonna know who she is. Milo's super small, and the reason I bring him up is because people forget them. But I just don't want to forget my parents and how amazing they have been towards me. Um, Always like my parents are like the old school Hispanic. Obviously, don't show a lot of like affection and things like that, but they always have gotten our back no matter what. Like we could fuck up, they still got our back. They're still together. They've been together for the longest time. Who knows how long their anniversary is? Because I think it passed in January. They're probably close to like their 40 year. Honestly, I don't even know how long they've been together, but that's a memory I never want to let go of is, always having them there and creating more. Like this year, they want to go to Mexico. My parents finished building their home in Mexico. So I think that would be pretty cool for all of us to go and just hang out, where my parents are from, where we're essentially from too. So just creating more memories and not letting them go. When do you feel most like you is when I'm doing stuff like this. Like, I did the podcast like where, and I talked about don't let that person's spark die. Meaning, there's some people that try to change people. There's my ex. She didn't like how I was goofy and like I joked around, and then you're just that spark slowly starts dying. You know, like you don't feel like you can be you. Because I know how to be goofy and then serious when I need to be serious. You know, you don't need to be professional, uptight all the time, right? There's times for that, and there's times where you can just joke around and have fun. Uh, but the where I feel the most as me is doing this social media because I get to talk to you guys, be my authentic self, be me, joke around, have fun, say some wild shit. Like this space, I feel like I can do whatever I want. Meaning like I can say whatever I want. I can talk however I want. Nobody's gonna sit here and judge me the way I talk. I swear. I say some spicy sexual shit sometimes and nobody like you guys love it. Like I'm not getting judged. I'm not getting no, like you guys let me talk openly and freely and just be me. And so that's why I love this, because it would be different like if I was in an industry I didn't like doing. You know what I mean? Like talking about some like weird shit. Uh maybe like I was talking about I don't know, some like science shit, and then all of a sudden that video popped off, and now people want to hear me talk about science. Like the only science we be talking about is the spicy experiments. You know what I'm talking about? But I always like to start off with that, get the brain going, get the mouth going, get everything going, because I basically have a template of what I want to do on the podcasts, but we just wing it, to be 100% honest. And that's how I get the best podcast. When I try to structure everything and like, this is what we're going to do, this is what we're going to do, it never turns out the way I wanted it to turn out. But this time I wanted to do a podcast because people always talk about it, that the dating scene sucks. The dating scene is horrible. So I decided to put together 10 reasons why the dating scene is so horrible right now. So, and mind you, this is why I always tell people, like, if you're going through horrible dating experiences, take some time and learn how to be by yourself. You don't need to be in a relationship. Like if you're getting like a bunch of horrible people that you're meeting, take some time and just focus on you. You don't need to be out there dating. Like if that's going on, just take some time and focus on you, girl or guy, bro, king, So the first one that I have is everyone is talking, but no one is committing. People are stuck in situationship zones, constant texting, hanging out, maybe even hooking up, but no one wants to define a relationship. Commitment phobia is real right now. And that is absolutely true. There's so many people, like the messages that you guys send, that you guys are stuck in a situationship. If you guys are in a situationship for over a year and there hasn't been no real commitment, you need to start calling people out or seeing yourself out, because you need to be able to, like, if you're working towards being in a serious relationship, you need to be working towards that. And if this person is not giving you that, it's just giving you like, oh no, like we'll see how things go, let's go with the flow. There's some people who've been in situationships for the longest time and nobody says anything. Okay, nobody's like, hey, we shouldn't be doing this. No, call your person out and be like, yo, are you looking for something serious? Because if you're not trying to be serious with me, I'm gonna go find somebody that wants to be serious. Okay, and that's essentially it too. Like, some people are messaging too many people, hanging out with a bunch of different people, hooking up with different people, and one reason, there's probably many. One reason is like, is this person the right person? Like, let me see if there's still better. Is there better out there for me? Is there something better out there? Is there a more good looking person out there for me? There's a person that's more financially secure? Is there more a person that fits me more, checks off more boxes for me? There's always that. So that's why there's that commitment phobia. And I think nobody is ever going to come checking off all the boxes. Maybe there is somebody out there, but for the most part, for someone to come into your life and check off all the boxes is probably not going to happen. Can somebody come close? Absolutely. Can somebody work towards checking off all those boxes? Absolutely. Nobody is perfect. I never say I'm perfect. I don't check off everybody's boxes. Like, I'll tell you that right now. But you can work towards checking off those boxes, or you can also compromise and be like, you know what? I really like this person. I like these major things about them. Yeah, like, there's some things that he doesn't check off or she doesn't check off the boxes, but they're not as big as this because you have to compromise somewhere. Like I've said it before, obviously you don't settle for less, but to find somebody who checks off all those boxes is going to be very difficult. And then also, like if you're also looking for somebody to check off all these boxes, you better be in the position to check off all his boxes. Okay. I love that video that went around talking about some girls are looking for a guy who's 6 foot, in shape, six figures, no kids, like all this stuff. You just make your dating pool smaller, 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 smaller. And then after that, after putting all these filters on the person that you're looking for, now they have to like you. And what makes you think that they're going to like you? Are you in the position? Because if you're looking for somebody who's doing well, are they going to want somebody who's just like going out and hanging out at parties every weekend? No, absolutely not. You know, that's why like I did a vlog. Shout out to the people who watch the vlogs. I said I love it when people invite me to go to events like the one I just went to, at Fitness Junkies, to go see, like, to go just hang out, network with people at a gym. Yeah, they were doing some drinking there, but it wasn't like a nightclub scene, like a bar scene. Like, I'll go to those every now and then, but that's not my vibe. Like this stuff, hell yeah, I'll go to this stuff. I'll go come hang out, events, different events like that. I'll go come hang out, but like a club scene. And then again, I've seen a lot of these videos like where a lot of these girls, they just go and look for somebody who's like well off, and then they attach themselves to them at the club scene. So, and I've dated people in the past. Like, I'm not saying you have to be wealthy, you have to be rich, you have to be killing. Like, I want somebody who has a career and is focusing on them, because I also want them to know how it is like when I get busy. So, besides that, commitment is a huge issue, and that's something that, if you're looking for something serious and the person that you're with right now, put a time limit. If they can't give you that by a certain time, then it might be time to move on, because you shouldn't be in a situationship. I'm using air quotes here, for longer than a year. If you're in a situationship for longer than a year, something, they're not ready to commit to you, or they don't want to commit to you. Okay, so the next one that I have is dating apps killed the vibe. Swiping culture made people disposable. You mess up once, cool. They got 5 more matches waiting. The instant access makes it hard for a real connection to grow. And this has like the dating apps and social media, okay? Because there's so many options out there that they use any little thing. Oh, this person blinked at me. Oh, this person, girls like, oh, this guy gave me the ick because he said this or he did that. Now I'm gonna go to the next guy, right? No, like, and I'm at fault at it too. Like the moment I get like a red flag, I mean, but it's a little different. If I get some red flags or some shady vibes, I usually check out. But it's not because they did something um, like petty or anything, like something small. It's more of like a red flag here. Trust me, I've let this red flag go and it's bit me in the ass before too. So stuff like that. Okay. But dating apps, like I said, there's so many people. Just because they match with you doesn't mean they didn't match with like 5 other people too, and they're messaging them, trying to, and they're, I feel like when you got options, you tend to like, I'm gonna hang out with I want to hang out with this person, but I'll also hang out with these ones. But if this one says yes, then okay, I'll go with this one. And then there's the one that I'm just like barely messaging at the very bottom, because I'm just like, just keep that person around just in case. I'm not saying I'm doing that right now. I'm saying like that's what typically happens, right? And that's what dating apps, that's why it sucks. They're good and bad, because you can meet good people on there, but at the same time, you can meet people who are married, engaged, in relationships, like anything. Uh, there's even straight guys on there looking for a gay connection. There's girls that are in a straight relationship but looking for a connection with a girl and stuff. Like there's all sorts of stuff. There's people on dating apps looking to look for a bull, and that's like when they bring another guy into their whole mix, or bring in another girl into their whole mix. Like that's what I'm saying. Like it's good and bad. It gives you a lot of options, but so does social media. Just because you're not on a dating app doesn't mean like you don't meet people on social media. I meet people on social media all the time, and that's where I've met most people. Not dating apps, just social media, because technically it kind of is. It can be a dating app, but I see there's a lot of options on there, and that's why it gets a little bit difficult because there's a lot of options now. And now, like, you're, well, this, I like this one, I like this one. Like, how do you choose? So, because that's the next one that I have too, has to deal with social media. Is social media creates unrealistic standards. We're all comparing real life people to filtered, curated highlight reels. Everyone wants the Instagrammable partner, not the actual human behind the filter. Absolutely. Like, uh, and show, like, TV shows and movies also give you like this perfect person, and like you want that person. Obviously, like, I'm sure a lot of girls are gonna want that person, that perfect date, and like they want that, like that Instagram vibe type of like. That's why, like, that whole comparison is, the thief of joy. Like, you're trying to compare this to that, this to that. No, if you vibe with the person, vibe with the person. If you like the person, like that person. Just because they don't fit your aesthetic for social media, like, that doesn't matter. You're gonna let something go that's like good just because of social media. Um, and that's why it's difficult, because always people always are always trying to compare, right? And you shouldn't be trying to compare uh, yourself to other people. Oh, like they have this type of relationship. Oh, because let's be honest, some people who have social media that are in relationships, they're not always the happiest. Okay, there has been, yeah, when they throw on the camera, they're the best ever, right? But when the camera's off, how are they then? Because they're not vlogging themselves 24/7. They're not, they only show you like the happy, like, oh, let's do this. But you think they never argue? You think they never have disagreements? You think one of them hasn't made the other person cry for some reason? Like, you think none of that is happening? I'm sure you've seen it. These people on social media, they're like, it looks like they have a perfect relationship, but all of a sudden out of nowhere, they're like, oh, we're separating. That's why I'm saying, like, stop paying attention to social media and thinking that you need a person like this, or you need a person like that. You need a person that's gonna fit you and fulfill you and what you need. Okay. Stop going to social, like, comparing yourself to somebody else's. Oh, I want a partner to do that. No. Okay. Dating, right? So the next one that I have is ghosting is the new norm. Instead of maturely saying, I'm not interested, people just vanish. No closure, no explanation. It's just emotionally exhausting. And that's 100% true, because I have done it a lot before. Okay. Because ghosting is easy. Ghosting, you don't have to have that uncomfortable conversation, uncomfortable combos plug. You don't have to have that uncomfortable conversation of like, hey, I'm not interested, because sometimes in guys' minds, they feel like you're going to ask a follow-up question and they don't know what to say. And they really don't want to tell you what exactly, like, they don't like you. You know, they're just going to make, oh, we're just not working out. Like, maybe they're just not interested, or they met somebody else and they don't know how to tell you that. Because they feel like you're gonna get mad at them or something, right? And so it's just so much easier to ghost. It's so much easier just not to have this conversation than to have that conversation. Uh, a while back ago, back in Idaho, I had gone on a date with this girl, and we went on 2 dates. It was all right. We weren't really vibing, and then we were still talking, and then we even said, "Hey, you know what? Like, this is like, I'm not really feeling this." And I was like saying, I was like, "I'm not really feeling this," and we just went our own separate ways. Mature conversation, healthy conversation. And when I would see that person out, I just, "Hey, what's up? How's it going?" Like, no awkwardness, no like, "Oh fuck, I ghosted this person." When you ghost somebody and you run into them, you're just like, "Oh fuck, this is awkward." No, it wasn't that. It was just, I saw him. I was like, "Hey, how's it going?" I think she was on a date too, and nothing wrong with that. You know, and but it was. I'm sure when we had that conversation. Well, yeah, like when I brought it up too, like I wasn't. I was like, we're not trying to ghost. Let's have a conversation, because again, I'm not saying I'm perfect. I've ghosted plenty of times, because that's just it. It's so much easier to not have the conversation. It's so much easier just to stop messaging. Even if you've been talking for like 3 months, sometimes, some people can feel it. They're like, "Oh, I'm not really interested in this. I don't know how to just end this. I don't know how to just stop this, because I don't want to hurt them. I don't want to say like I don't want to feel like the bad guy, but ghosting is even worse. And we just don't realize that. We just don't, because we don't get to see what happens. If we just ghost them, block them, we don't get to see what happens afterwards, the crash out. We don't get to see that because we're just like, all right, cool. Like, I'm just going to stop messaging this person, maybe even block them, maybe even like not message them anymore. Uh, and see what happens. Cause I've gotten the messages too, like, hey, like, well, are you just not gonna talk to me anymore? Or like what's going on? And then I still didn't respond. And I know now looking back, she was probably going through this whole crash out in her head. Cause there was this girl I was talking to for maybe a couple months. Everything seemed like it was going great, but I wasn't really feeling it. I think she was feeling it and I wasn't really feeling it. And the best thing I could, or not the best thing, but the thing that I thought I should have done, it was just cut her off, just stop messaging, block her. Well, I didn't block her. I just stopped messaging. She would message me, no response. I stopped messaging her, like normal times I would message her. And then out of nowhere, she just hit me. So like, oh, so we're just going to stop talking, or like what? Like you can't even tell me that you didn't want to talk to me anymore. And then I, then I didn't respond to that either. Right. Cause I was like, I'm not trying to have this. Now I already got to this position where it's awkward because she's messaging me because she knows that I'm not messaging her and I haven't messaged her in a while. Like I know she's crashing out now and I still continue to be like, I'm not trying to do this. So like I didn't even message her after she sent that, which probably caused even more of a crash out. Cause let's be honest, like when you're getting ghosted, you're just like, what the fuck is happening? Like I thought we were good. Like what is going on here? And ghosting is the new norm. And like that's why I'm telling people it's try not to, if you're not interested in the person and you're gonna stop talking to them, just tell them. And if they overreact, if they crash out, whatever the case, let them. You told them no. Instead of being like just cutting them off like no messages. Because they're gonna react like that no matter what. You can tell them, and then people ask, "Oh, how do I tell them I'm not interested or like, I don't want to be anything with them?" You can ask them, or you can tell them in the most nicest way. Use the nicest tone possible. Like all this stuff, they're still gonna react the way they're gonna react. They might get mad, they might get upset, they might cry, they might oh okay, whatever. Not even maybe they weren't feeling it either. But you can tell to them rude, they're gonna react that way. You can tell them to the nicest possible way, and then all of a sudden they'll get mad, they get pissed off because you're cutting them off. But they're also gonna get pissed off if you what's it called, ghost them. So why not just tell them why? Hey, I'm not really feeling this. We should just do our own thing. Uh, I just don't want to do this. I don't see a future with us, so I'm just gonna do my own thing. And if they crash out, let them crash out. Just don't respond, right? Because it's so much, and you never know. They might not even crash out. They might just have a healthy conversation, and now you're putting yourself in those uncomfortable situations to the point where now it helps with your communication skills, your social skills, because the more you put yourself in uncomfortable situations, the more you develop these like communication skills, these social skills, because it's no longer awkward to you. People, when I talk to people about spicy stuff, intimate stuff, I openly, freely talk about it, no issue. Some people get that, like they hold off a little bit, right? They're just like, oh, this is weird, and like I don't like talking about my intimacy. Like this is fucking, some people are like that, and it's the same with this. And maybe I was in the beginning talking about this stuff because there's some stuff that I don't, I still get like, uh, but the more I do it, it's just the more easy I can talk about anything, and I don't feel that way. So try to have healthy conversations with your person, and if that means ending it, end it. Tell them why you're ending it. I'm just not really feeling this. Let's not do ghosting because it you don't know what it does to them. I also did a whole episode on ghosting and how it affects people mentally and emotionally, because it also affects you too. The one doing the ghosting, because now you're shutting down. Which doesn't help you at all either. And now you just also sit there and think about like what you just did, and it fucking fucks you up too. And then it also fucks them up that you ghosted them. Now they're wondering why you did it. Was it them? What do they do? What could they do better? Like, are you not good enough? Like all these things go through some people's minds. So it's so much easier just telling them straight up, hey, I'm not really feeling this. Even if you're like a few months in, cool. Like that's what dating is, feeling people out. Just because you start dating somebody or going on dates and stuff, trying to get to know somebody doesn't mean anything. Yes, you may have invested 4 months into this person, but guess what? It's better just to cut it off, have that conversation, and be like, yeah, we tried. I'm not really feeling this. I'm gonna go like do something else, right? Uh, doesn't mean like, hey, I invested 4 months with this person. It has to work now. No, come on now. So let's stop the ghosting. Okay, not so much ghosting going on. All right, so the next one that I have is people are emotionally unavailable but still dating. A lot of people haven't healed from past trauma or heartbreak, and they still out here trying to date. That ends up hurting both problem or parties. And we all know those people that are still messaging their ex. Even if it's you, maybe you're still messaging your ex. If you're not emotionally available to be dating somebody, like why are you going to put them through that? Why are you going to make them feel a certain way? Maybe even make them start getting feelings for you, and then you just ghost them, or you're like, nah, I'm not interested. Because it's so easy to cut somebody off when you're not emotionally invested into something. It's so easy. You just be like, yeah, I'm not really feeling this. And then they're like, what the fuck happened? I thought everything was going great. So if you're not over your ex or some past trauma, get some help. Because how would you feel if you started talking to somebody and they treated you like that? They weren't emotionally ready to be with somebody. Like it would probably suck, right? So why are you gonna put somebody through that? Or even thinking about your kids, like, come on, karma's a bitch. Let's not. You don't want somebody to put you through some like an being emotionally unavailable. So if you're not ready to date, like let them know too. Like if you're just there to have fun, be like, hey, I'm not really in the space to be dating, but we can go out, we can hang out, and see what happens. But just know I'm not looking to be serious with anybody. And if they continue to see you, then cool, that's on them, right? Remember how I told you I went to 3 years without dating? Basically, my conversation. I just told them I was not in the space to be dating. If you wanted to hang out and like we can go do things, but I'm not looking for anything serious right now. You stuck around, okay, cool. You knew what we talked about, um, and which was really healing for me, just because I wasn't ready to be dating. I was like, I had gone through bad relationship after bad relationship after bad relationship, and I was just over it, And I'm glad I took those 3 years and just focused on me, because a lot of things happened. That's why I'm telling you guys, learn how to be by yourself and do shit during that time, your healing journey, because you can make a lot of shit happen. Okay. Especially when you're not focusing on another person, because when you're focusing on another person, maybe you're focusing on like, let's go on a date. I got to do this for her. I want to do this, instead of being like, all right, what's the next move for the career? What's the next move for the career? Because you don't have those other distractions. So if you feel like you're not ready, if you still think a lot about your ex, if you still in contact with your ex or hope that there's something going to be with your ex, don't put somebody through that. Like make sure you're over that, over past traumas before you decide to mess with somebody's feelings. Okay. Because you wouldn't want it done to you. So let's not do it to them. Right. Number 6 is too many options, not enough effort. The paradox of choice. Too many options makes people less satisfied with what they have, always thinking someone is better in just one swipe away. And we talked about this earlier. I feel like not all guys, but most guys get that FOMO feeling, like is the fear of missing out, for those that don't know. Meaning, is there something better out there for me? Like if I really lock down with this person, what if somebody who maybe looks better comes along? Because trust me, looks is a big one to some people. What if someone with a better career comes along? What if someone that fits me more comes along? And so now that's why you get put in a placeholder situation, a situationship, because there's a lot of options out there. Let's be honest. Like ever since social media, you can connect with people super fast. A FaceTime, IG message, and like anything. You can reach out to somebody super quick. Now you can talk to somebody who's across the world, across the nation. I can be in Arizona, somebody can be in New York. And we can have a full blown conversation, even video call. Uh, there's just so many options that you just need to know what you want. And if you know what you want, like talk to that person too. Be like, hey, I'm interested in you. Like, let's see where things happen, or like, get what they're looking for too. Because the last thing you want to do is just waste a bunch of your time with this person, right? So, but that also makes it difficult for somebody, you know, with too many options. Is It's harder to lock down. Like if they, oh, I got this girl, this girl, and this girl, and this girl, and this girl, and like, why? It's kind of hard to choose one because how do I know this one? How do I know this one? How do I know this one? So you end up not choosing none of them because you have too many options. I gave so when it comes down to business, they did a whole psychology or psychology, or they did this whole study. When you're pricing stuff, people tier too many things. You know how some people have like gold, silver, bronze, neon, like all these packages, right? And then have like tier one, tier two, tier three, tier four. No, and have all these. When you give somebody too many options, they don't choose none of them. But when you give people like two options, A or B, they're gonna choose A or B. You know, it's weird how it works because I did it with my media company that we had, or like back in Idaho, two options, like for certain things, this price and this price. Which one you want? And they'll choose one or the other. And if you make it slightly, I'm not getting into the business, but that's what I'm saying. Like if you're talking to two different people, all right, I got to make a decision here. Like you're gonna choose one. I really like this person. I'm gonna focus on this person a little bit more. But if you have five different girls, you're not gonna choose any of them. It's weird how our mind works. That's why like it worked very well in business, like giving them two options, right? And so it's the same with people. Like if you have two options, like okay, this person, this I like this, and this, and I don't like this, and then this other person I like this, and this, but I like this, and this, and this, and you start pros and cons, or maybe you just vibe with one a little bit more. You feel like there's more of a connection there than the other person. Then you go with that person, right? And you end up choosing. It's fucking weird how our fucking minds work. But if you have like 3, 4 people on there, you don't choose none of them. You don't want none of them because you have to think of this person, that person, this person. So too many options leads to that. And so if you get that vibe from somebody, just move on. Be like, hey, you know what? Seems like you're not really in a place to look for something serious. That's cool, totally fine. I am, so I'm gonna go and find somebody that is looking to be in a serious relationship. So just something like that. But too many options is for sure a problem because then people don't choose any. The next one that I have is trust issues everywhere. Cheating, lies, hidden double lives. It's hard to trust anyone when you hear horror stories, dating. Welcome to my freaking TikTok. Married people cheating, people in engaged cheating, people in boyfriend and girlfriend cheating, guys coming home and seeing them with it's mainly the other way around. Girls have caught their man with another man. How would you feel about that? If I came home and I caught my girl with another girl, I think I would be more mad at me, like, why the fuck didn't you invite me? Instead of being like, what the fuck? Not just me. I'd be like, what the fuck? Why didn't you invite me? Like, what's up? Thanks for the invite. But there's trust issues everywhere because people are just lying everywhere. There's people who, I was talking to this person, come to find out he's pregnant, or he got his girl pregnant while we were talking. He's married. He's in a relationship. And same with the other way around. She's in a relationship. She's married. And so it's really hard. And when you actually go through my TikToks and IG, you're just like, damn, it's crazy out there. Yeah, it is crazy. But it's because all I do is post the crazy stuff. I don't post the good stuff because that's not entertaining, right? So there's plenty of good stories out there. It just, if someone sent in a message, hey, I just met my man of 1 year. We just hit our 1 year anniversary. Things are going great. Nobody's gonna watch that video. Hey, I just caught my man with another man. They were cheating on me. I found videos. people are like, holy shit, that shit's crazy with another man, you know? Like uh that's why you see a lot of the bad stuff, because the bad stuff is the one that gets the views, gets the clicks, gets everything. The good stuff, you're just like, oh, nice, cool. And then you keep moving, watching the bad stuff. uh but there definitely is a lot of trust issues. Like, are they talking to multiple people? Like, are they married? Are they in a relationship? Are they who they say they are? People be lying out here. People be catfishing too. So that's why you have to take everything with a grain of salt, because you just never know nowadays, right? You just never know. I've been catfished twice in my life, and I've told those stories plenty of times. So the next one that I have is men and women are battling instead of partnering. Social media is filled with men ain't shit, and modern women are the problem. Post is turning dating into a gender war instead of a partnership. And there is a lot of that, like the men ain't shit. And I get it, so everything is based off that person's experience. Maybe they were in 3 relationships that just went to shit every time. And now she's going to say men ain't shit because she had those 3 bad experiences. Now she's balling up all these men in the world and saying that they're not shit just because she had 3 bad experiences. What ain't shit is her way to pick these guys. You know what I mean? And same goes with girls, or like guys and girls. Like, some guys say like girls ain't shit. They're just looking for what's it called, gold digger. They're looking for this and that. They're like they're looking for somebody to come save them, because maybe they had somebody that just kept asking them for money, kept asking them for, and there's stuff like that too. But um, just like everything, take everything with a grain of salt. Yeah, just know what you will and will not accept from somebody, and then just go out there, because there's great people out there. There's women who are amazing, sociable. They want to get to know you, grow as a person with you, do things for you, cook for you, clean for you, have wild, freaky sex with you. And same with guys. There's guys out there that want to treat you like a queen, passenger princess, give you the world. But we get so, like, there's so much information out now. Like, let's be honest, there's so much information out there. Depending, if you had a bad experience, you're really going to relate to the people saying like men ain't shit, right? Because you had a bad experience with a guy, and now you're like, you know what, she's right, men ain't shit. And same with guys. Like, if some guys like women ain't shit, guy's going to be like, you know what, I just had a bad experience. Yeah, women ain't shit. And now you're balling up all these people in the same, like, you're categorizing them. uh, you had, again, I had my previous relationship where it's like shitty, 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 shitty. And then I was like, you know what? I'm just going to stop. I'm just going to focus on me. And then after that, yeah, I met some cool people. Unfortunately, it didn't work out, but I'm not saying, I wasn't sitting there like women ain't shit. I did see some videos like, oh, women, a woman this, a woman this, a girl this, a girl, men have to go through all, yeah, but we all do, right? But just take everything with a grain of salt. That's why I always try to give advice. Uh, I try to cater to both sides, but I know how men react on certain things. That's why a lot of people feel like I'm giving girls more advice. No, I'm just showing you how some guys are. I'm not saying all guys are like that. I'm saying some guys are like that, and just something to look out for and something not to expect. Because again, I was that guy like having a roster, talking to multiple girls, situationships, placeholders. I wasn't even interested in them like in something serious like that, but I would just drag them along. I was that guy hooking up with married girls. Like, I was that guy. And so that's why I'm able to help give some advice to help avoid those type of people, because I'm trying to be better. I'm not saying I'm perfect. I'm not saying that, oh yeah, like I did all that and now I'm completely different. No, I'm just trying, right? I try, like, if I talk to somebody, I just don't ghost them. I try to have that conversation. Even though I think the last time I ghosted somebody was, I would say maybe like 2-3 years ago. It was back in Idaho. I just stopped messaging that person because I wasn't really feeling it. Instead of me being like, hey, let's not do this. uh, so definitely take all the advice that you get from uh, the girl that you follow, the guy that you follow, and take it with a grain of salt, but also just know what you want and know what you're looking for. Because also, like, remember, there's amazing people out here. You just have to like filter through all these BS. And that's why I'm saying take some time and focus on you. If you're getting nothing but horrible people, take some time, focus on you. And then maybe eventually you'll find the man of your dreams, the woman of your dreams, right? All right. So the next one that I have, all right, is everyone wants instant gratification. If the spark doesn't hit immediately, people dip. No one wants to build anymore the way they instant connection, chemistry, and perfection. I mean, if I don't feel a vibe with somebody, a connection with somebody within like the first few dates, okay, I'm out. If you don't feel that right away, like if there's a connection or, you know, I would say then like maybe dip out, invest a few dates into this person to see if there's some sort of connection. But if not, then let's move on. I'm not saying I go, have I gone on one date? And yeah, see, and this is why I'm saying like people are different. Maybe this one I try to question, I'll question a little bit because if you're on a first date with somebody and there was just absolutely no connection there, maybe there's nothing there. Maybe give them a second date and see what happens. And if there's nothing on the second date, okay, dip out. But if I don't feel anything within like the first few times going out with this person, I'm done. You know, because there's no connection, no chemistry. I, excuse me, I know nothing is perfect, but you should feel some sort of connection to the person, if that makes sense. And, you know, correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like you should feel some sort of connection with somebody. And if I don't, I'm not going to waste your time. I'm not going to waste my time. Let's move on. So that one I kind of question because I'm still going to be doing what I do, you know, and if there's no connection there, then guess what? You know, let me not waste your time. I'm not going to waste my time either. Let's keep it moving. So, and the last one that I have is lack of accountability. People don't want to own their own flaws or work on themselves. They just blame the other person, bounce, and repeat the cycle. And see, those previous relationships where I said before I went 3 years without dating, I'm not saying it was their fault. It was just things that I didn't like about them, things that obviously I was doing wrong and that I could have worked on to be better, but they just didn't work out. Every time, like say I do get in a relationship and I get out, I tend to think like, what did I do wrong in that relationship? To see like maybe not do it anymore, you know, because I've talked about it before. I got told by 2 different exes that I was a pretty cold person. And I explained why I said I was a cold person. And I'm trying to work on it, you know, just because I don't empathize a little bit with people. Meaning, like, if you come to me with a problem, I usually try to, all right, how do we fix it? You know, that's the problem. Let's do this, this, and this, and this, and we can fix it. Because that's how I am. If I have a problem, let's fix it. You know, that's an entrepreneur mindset right there. Because at the end of the day, like if you're the top dog and there's problems, you can't go to anybody to fix them. Like you have to fix them. So I'm trying a little bit more to, hey, I hear you. I understand you, you know, and other people have told me too, like they just want, maybe they're just looking for a little bit of, empathy, like okay, I'm listening to them. I can hear that their problem, not just kind of like brushing off their problem, which I'm not. If I was brushing off their problem, I'd be like, oh shit, that sucks, and then just continue on. Instead, I'm like, okay, you brought me a problem, let's figure a solution out. But I know maybe if I get brought a problem now, I'm just like, dang, that sucks. I'm sorry you have to go through that, and now let's fix it. So that's what I'm trying to work on it. You know, I'm trying to be a little bit more empathetic just because I know not everybody sees it the same way I see it. And I'm not saying they need to, I'm just saying that that's how it comes out of me. And so I just need to know how that they may see it differently. And I don't want them to feel like I'm just brushing off whatever they tell me. I'm just more of like, okay, this is a problem, let's fix it. Because I never bring somebody a problem and just like, oh, I just need you to tell me like it's gonna be okay. I'm just like, this is the problem. How do we fix it? But it's definitely something I'm working on. But most people don't work on their problems. Like if they're not healed through the previous relationship, it's not me. They're not gonna be like, oh, it's my fault. It's this is this is the way why I'm like this is why I'm not committing. And they're never the problem. That's why they'll jump to from relationship to relationship, because they're not the problem, right? When clearly, you got to pick up on patterns. Yeah, you might be the problem, buddy. If you go from relationship, and you might be contributing heavy to the problem. But anyways, hopefully some of these you're able to relate to, and hopefully maybe take some time. If you're going through a lot of bad relationships, a lot of bad dates, just take some time and focus on you. There's nothing wrong with that. Hey, for the next 6 months, I'll go on dates, but I'm not taking anybody serious, or not even go on dates. Just hang out as a group with other people, right? Just take some time and focus on you. And something I wanted to talk about too, that I mentioned in the beginning, is that I've been told several times. Well, here's the real gist. Was trying to partner with a company to do some sort of collaboration, sponsorship for adult toys, because it fits right along with the content, right? But some people be picky as hell. Some people don't like. It's just a hassle working with some companies. And so, what I did? I just ended up starting my own. I was like, all right, cool. You don't want to sponsor, you don't want to help out, like you want to make everything super difficult. Cool. I'm just gonna go start one on my own, and I'm just gonna be your competitor. But it's also something that I've been wanting to do, just because it does fit along with the content that I do, and I want people to have a better relationship with whatever person they're in. And I feel like if it's a guy selling these, meaning like if I'm like promoting it and stuff like that, other guys are gonna feel a little bit more comfortable purchasing something for their lady friend, or to use with their partner. And then I know, trust me, a lot of girls be using some of this stuff already, right? And it's just something I've been wanting to do, because that's how I tell people, always use like whatever you have to, like, it fits right along with my content. It would be weird if I started like a fitness energy drink, because then it doesn't fit with my content. That's why a lot of people, the smart ones in that do social media, they usually do brand deals or something that fits along with their content, because that's how they're gonna have the most. It's gonna be the most effective campaigns. And me, obviously, we do the spicy stuff over here, relationship stuff, married stuff, ex stuff, all that stuff. So I feel like having my own adult store, meaning like it's gonna sell like toys for women, toys for guys, maybe some edible foods, some just the different stuff to have a better experience with your person. And that's what I want, is people to have great experiences. And again, I feel like purchasing it from a guy might help other guys, purchase something. Because instead of it, usually if you see a girl, I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with it, but guys are a little bit different. Guys might see a girl and be like, yeah, like she's selling adult toys for like other girls. No, I'm selling adult paraphernalia for everybody. I want guys to come on and feel comfortable, and girls to obviously watch the content and be like, yeah, I love his content. I'm gonna support this, right? So that's what we're doing. When is the launch date? Not 100% sure. I'm still trying to get everything figured out. I'm getting obviously the LLCs, the bank accounts, like all that stuff on point. The social medias, the Shopify account, the reaching out to the different companies that I had to apply to and stuff like that. Like, it's all a process. I wish it could just be like, hey, I started it yesterday. I got the idea. No, it's something I've been wanting to do, and so clearly this is going to take time and money. And so, but we got to be intentional about what we do. Again, it would be really weird if I started like a protein drink, because people were like, okay, like that's weird. He's starting a protein drink. Cool. You're getting into fitness. It would probably be a huge business fail on my end, because you guys aren't following me for my fitness advice. You guys are following me for this stuff, and I feel like that would really mold well with what I'm doing now. So look out for it. I'm going to be announcing the name, the website, a launch date, everything. I'm just trying to get everything figured out. I would hate to be like, oh, I'm launching it on this day, and then it doesn't happen, because I'm still waiting on this or I'm still waiting on that, right? There's a lot of moving pieces that you have to figure out before you get there. Unless you do like some like bougie, like I'm trying to do everything legit, the right way, the most efficient way, getting the SEO figured out, getting the website figured out. Like I'm doing all of that. And it's just me. You guys got to remember, it's just me. But it's definitely happening. That's for sure. So, anyways, I want to thank you guys for listening. Give this video a thumbs up, a 5-star rating wherever you're listening to on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, wherever you're listening to. Check us out. Follow me on all my social medias. Everything is linked down below. And I'll see you guys on the next episode. See you guys.